The jungle pulsed with alien life. Every inch of Gorkal Prime's equatorial belt was wrapped in breathless humidity and impossible green. Leaves the size of solar sails hung from branches that twisted like serpents. Luminescent spores hovered in the air, drifting between shafts of amber sunlight that sliced through the canopy. Somewhere in the distance, something massive exhaled. Ayla Wren crouched beside a moss-covered root, brushing dirt away from the base of a strange fern. Her gloves trembled against the cool, pulsing bark. Photosynthetic resonance, she whispered into her field recorder. Responsive to infrared. Possibly sentient. Definitely hostile to synthetic fabrics. The fern had already melted 2 drone casings. She reached into her sample pouch, drew out a dull blue vial, and extracted a smear of sap. The viscous substance glowed faintly, like it knew it had been taken. Above her, Galen Riker moved like a shadow through the high branches. Silent. Watching. The scanner strapped to his forearm pulsed a dull red. Motion spike. Southeast 300 meters. Wrap it up, Wren, he murmured into the calm. Give me 60 seconds. This plant hates drones. I like it already. You're exposed. This isn't survey zone. It's unlogged. Ayla sighed. I'm not trespassing on a Velka claim. This is technically unclaimed, remember? Shared research sector. Shared sectors don't stop energy lances. She capped the vial, wiped her hands, and stood. Galen tracked her heat signature through the foliage, following her slow return path toward their outpost. Every step she took, he matched from above, never touching the ground, never leaving a trace. She paused under a twisted branch, glanced up. You going to talk to me like a person or a mission brief the entire day? His voice crackled, filtered through static. Soon as we're out of this damn canopy. Romantic, she muttered, adjusting her pack. They had been on the planet 2 months. Their mission, document flora in the deep jungles before the Velka patrols expanded south. But the ceasefire was fragile. The hegemony played by their own rules, and humans often vanished near the borderlands. Ayla stepped over a thicket of claw vines and froze. There was no sound. No insects. No birds. Even the spores had stopped drifting. Her calm hissed. Ayla? You still moving? She reached for her sidearm, eyes scanning the trees. Yeah. Just. The world exploded into noise. Metal slammed into flesh. She screamed. 3 armored shapes materialized from the foliage, cloaked in jungle camel mesh. Velker. One of them barked a command in a guttural dialect. Another struck her across the temple with a stun baton. The world blinked. Galen saw it all. He was already moving before she hit the ground. Down the branch. Drop to vine. Slide along moss-covered trunk. No noise. No hesitation. But it was too late. The 3 Velker soldiers moved like ghosts, vanishing with her body into the canopy below. Her gear was left scattered behind, deliberate. A message. Galen hit the ground, rolled, and scanned the clearing. No pulse. No signal. Then faint. A single low-frequency ping. He tapped his earpiece, filtering through static until the encoded rhythm came through. 3 short pulses, 1 long. Again. A trick only they knew. Something they practiced for emergencies. Untraceable to most sensors. Ayla was alive. He crouched by her dropped field kit, fingers brushing the sample vial still warm from her grip. He stared into the distance, muscles taut beneath his camo suit. His eyes narrowed. They broke ceasefire. They took her alive. He activated a stealth map overlay on his visor. The Velker would move northeast, toward their unregistered encampments in the Gorge Basin. He had 20 hours, maybe less, before they offloaded her or worse. He didn't curse. He didn't scream. He simply stood. And disappeared into the jungle. Far above, something vast stirred in the canopy, a bioluminescent predator shifting its perch. It made no move. Even the jungle knew. A human was on the hunt. Pain brought her back. Ayla's arms were bound above her head, wrists cuffed to an arch of bone lashed with sinew. The walls around her pulsed, organic, damp. Fungal spores clung to the air, humming faintly. A rusted light flickered above, casting distorted shadows of insectoid armor. Across the chamber, Captain Vral Trex stood motionless. "Name," he said. Ayla blinked blood from her lashes. Her tongue felt swollen. Ayla Wren. Civilian xenobotanist. Terran expansion pact. You crossed the Velker patrol line. She breathed in, slow and deliberate. That sector's unclaimed. We had clearance. No clearance for espionage. Vral circled her like a predator, scaled and cold. His voice never rose. You were transmitting live scans. Mapping sublayers. We detected you days ago. It's science. It's provocation. He stopped in front of her. His yellow eyes studied her face, noting the bruising, the defiance. Where is your partner? She held his gaze. He's watching. Vral's mandibles clicked. Without warning, a jolt lanced through her body. The arch she was bound to amplified electric pulses directly into her nervous system. Her back arched, breath torn from her throat. Then silence. She sagged. Your species folds quickly, he said. Ayla coughed. We built cities under oceans. You think we break from pain? You'll break. They always do. Galen moved through the jungle like vapor. The Velker had covered their tracks, but not well enough. He traced snapped vines, faint ozone residue from the stun weapon, and a discarded sensor nub half buried in dirt. His visor tracked thermals. At 600 meters, the canopy broke into a clearing, camouflaged structures beneath oversized fungal domes. 1 watchtower. 4 drones. Guards, possibly 6. He marked them all. But he didn't engage. Not yet. Instead, he climbed. Higher and higher, until he was nestled in the hollow of a giant hanging blossom, its petals wide enough to conceal a hover pod. From there, he watched. Through the thermal lens, he spotted a flicker, her body heat, barely readable, deep inside the central structure. She was alive. He activated his wrist module, tuning into frequency band B0. Their fallback band. Silence. Then, ping. Ping ping. Ping. The signal came weak, stuttering, but real. He exhaled. Hold on. Back in the cell, Vral brought the recorder closer. We know of your partner, Galen Riker, he said. Ayla said nothing. He left the military. Went dark after Orion. Records sealed. One doesn't disappear unless they're dangerous. Or broken. She let her head drop, blood trickling down her temple. You care for him. Vral leaned close. That makes you useful? He turned to a subordinate, nodding once. The room dimmed as a visor screen activated. Grainy footage, Ayla being taken, overlaid with biometric readouts. We'll broadcast your confession, Vral said. You'll say you were coerced. That you spied for the Terrans. No. You will. You'll beg. The stun arc cracked again. White-hot pains slammed into her chest. Her vision fractured into static and fire. But she bit down, hard enough to draw blood. The scream stayed inside. In the dark, a voice whispered, Don't give in. I'm coming. Galen sketched a layout in the dirt. He had 2 hours of daylight. Once the sun dipped, the jungle turned into a different kind of hell. He took stock, 2 smoke bombs, a vibroblade, 1 suppressor cartridge for his rifle, and a handful of microcharges. Enough to bleed them. Not enough to get sloppy. He descended in silence. Each movement was measured. No rush, no noise. He moved through the underbrush like it was memory. His breathing steady, body low. At 150 meters, he cut a fiber-thin tripwire. The Velker were lazy. He marked 2 patrol routes, memorized timing, then slid under a half-fallen log. 1 drone passed overhead. He held still. The undercarriage hummed above, scanning. Then it moved on. In the cell, Ayla's breath rattled. Her body trembled from the inside out. She heard them outside arguing. A new voice, less confident. One of the soldiers had seen something. A shadow. Tracks, maybe? Riker, she muttered. The thought gave her strength. Vrall returned moments later, his composure cracked. He's here. Ayla smiled with blood on her teeth. Told you. You'll die before he reaches you. Maybe. But you'll go first. Vrall backhanded her, claws scraping skin. I want him watching when I get you. You want him to see? He'll oblige. Galen was already inside the perimeter. A corpse slumped beneath a pile of roots, one of the sentries' throats slit clean. No alarms. No sounds. Galen stepped over the body like it wasn't even there. He reached the side of the structure. Plant growth had overtaken half the outer wall. He used it, scaling up with silent precision. Inside, he moved fast. 1 corridor. 2 guards ahead. He waited, knife ready, body still. The first turned, too slow. The blade slid in, quiet. The second had time to choke on his own blood before dropping. Galen opened a reinforced cell door with a shorted access chip. Sparks flared. She looked up from the floor. He caught her before she collapsed. Her voice rasped. Took your damn time. I got lost. She laughed, a broken sound that dissolved into a sob. I'm getting you out, he said. Her eyes locked on his. Kill him. I will. Then he lifted her gently, and disappeared back into the jungle, this time, with fire in his eyes. Night sank its teeth into the jungle. Mist curled along the forest floor, thick and metallic in scent. Above the Velker camp, the moon, bent and jagged like a cracked lens, barely pierced the treetops. Everything was shadows. Galen crouched beside a withered trunk, adjusting the bandage around Ayla's ribs. She winced but didn't flinch. You good to move? He whispered. She nodded once. I can crawl or stab. Maybe both. Her eyes were sharp despite the bruises. He handed her a small blade. Compact. Balanced. For close quarters, he said. Ayla tightened her grip. What's the plan? Kill the lights. Cut comms. Cripple their confidence. Then Vrall. She gave a tired smile. That sounds like you. Galen checked his watch. The patrol patterns hadn't changed. Still arrogant. Still slow. Stay hidden, he said. Don't run. Wait for silence. When it's quiet, come to the tower. She grabbed his arm. Don't die in there. He didn't answer. Just vanished into the mist. Inside the camp, tension crackled. 3 Velker patrols were missing. No bodies. No signs. Vrall paced the command spire, scanning surveillance feeds that flickered with static. The jungle outside was alive, but silent. That silence unnerved him. He barked orders in their native tongue, dispatching search teams toward the perimeter. But he knew. The human had come. Galen moved like a rumor. His silhouette never lingered. His footfalls were part of the earth. A sentry paused beneath a sensor node, rubbing his tired neck. A wire looped around his throat a second later. His feet kicked once, then stopped. Galen dragged the body into the underbrush and kept moving. He planted a charge beneath the main power relay, careful not to trigger the heat sensors. The compound's outer lights dimmed, flickered, then returned. Good. When it blew, it would all go at once. In the control spire, Vrall leaned over the console. He's here, he muttered. His lieutenant stepped forward. Sir, we still have numbers. 2 squads. You don't understand humans, Vrall snapped. One of them is worth 10 of us in the dark. This one, he's more. He stared at the hollow feed of Ayla's empty cell. He's not here to escape. He's here to erase us. Galen reached the weapons cache near the east barricade. He slipped inside, past 2 drowsy guards. 1 bolt. 1 knife. They fell without a sound. He took a thermal core from the armory wall, a volatile canister used for emergency power. With the right tweak, it would ignite everything nearby. He armed the core, set it to proximity detonation, and left it leaning against the ammo crates. 2 minutes. Ayla crept along the base of the outer fencing, half crawling, half dragging herself toward the tower. She could hear the distant sounds, scattered yells, a dull thump, then silence. Again and again. Something exploded in the east quadrant. Orange flame lit up the sky. Screams followed. She ducked as debris rained down near her. Galen had started the war. Inside the tower, Vrall activated lockdown. Steel shutters slammed over entrances. Emergency sirens wailed. But the system lagged. Doors flickered open, then closed again. Sabotage. He turned to the central chamber, pulling down his personal blade from the display wall, ornamental, but sharp. He'd kill the human himself. Then show the corpse to her. Then he'd begin again. Galen kicked the door off its hinges. Smoke followed him. His rifle fired once, clean shot. Vrall's second-in-command dropped before he turned. Riker, Vrall hissed. You're predictable. You're dead. They circled each other in the flickering light. Vrall lunged, fast and brutal. Galen blocked with his forearm, blade slicing shallow along his ribs. He shoved back, twisted, and slammed the butt of his rifle into the alien's jaw. Vrall staggered, blood speckling his mandibles. You came alone, he said, laughing. Stupid animal. I'm not alone, Galen growled. From behind, Ayla appeared, limping, pale, but standing. She hurled the blade Galen gave her. It buried in Vrall's shoulder. The alien screamed. Galen surged forward, driving his blade deep into the commander's chest. Metal clanged against bone. You tortured the wrong woman, he whispered. Vrall collapsed. Smoke curled from his mouth. His last breath gurgled out as his eyes dimmed. Galen stood over him, bloodied and burning with rage. Ayla leaned against the wall, shaking. You okay? He asked. She nodded. You. Not done yet. They stepped outside as the tower's systems failed entirely. The charges beneath the relay finally went off. Power vanished. Panic surged across the camp. They didn't wait. Together, they melted into the trees, ghosts swallowed by the jungle. Behind them, the Velker compound burned. And no one came to stop it. Smoke painted the sky black. The Velker camp was no longer a structure. It was a collapsing skeleton, eaten from the inside by fire and ruin. Screams had faded. The jungle had swallowed the noise, like it always did. Galen led Ayla through the undergrowth, slow but deliberate. She leaned on him, every step carved from pain and adrenaline. He didn't rush her. The mission was done. But not finished. We have to get clear, he said. Explosion like that? Satellites will catch it. Velker scouts might follow. Ayla nodded. Her lips were dry. We have an extraction cache south ridge. 2 clicks. He checked his wrist module. Can you walk too? I'll crawl if I have to. She didn't. They moved like ghosts, no footprints, no voices. Galen guided her around sensor routes, beneath bone vine arches, past nests of razor ants that glowed violet under moonlight. The jungle, as always, was alive. But it didn't challenge them now. Even the trees seemed to keep still. After 40 minutes, they reached the cache, an overgrown emergency shelter buried under false foliage and thermoreflective mesh. Galen keyed the entrance code. The metal hatch hissed open, stale air rushing up. Inside was silence. Clean floor. Medical supplies. Oxygenated rest pods. A forgotten corner of civilization buried in madness. Ayla dropped onto the cot without speaking. Galen sealed the hatch behind them, scanning for trackers. None. Then, for the first time in hours, he exhaled. She looked up at him, eyes glassy with fatigue. He said you wouldn't come. He lied. He said he'd make me talk. Said humans break easy. Galen sat beside her. Some do. Not you. Her fingers trembled as she reached for his hand. He didn't hesitate. He took it. You saw what they were doing, she said. Not just to me. To others. That wasn't a patrol post. It was a holding site. A test lab. I know. We can't leave that out there. We won't. Later, after she slept, Galen sat near the hatch, rifle across his lap. His wounds throbbed. His ribs were cracked, shoulder bruised, but he stayed alert. The fire from the Velker camp had spread. In the distance, the sky glowed a dull red, like some god had bled across the horizon. His visor pinged. Satellite echo. Velker transport approaching, slow and scanning. They wouldn't land. Not on a smoldering grave. He grinned. He tapped into the broadcast beacon buried with the shelter. Sent one short message. Vral is dead. This sector is human now. Try again, if you like funerals. He shut it down before a reply could reach him. When Ayla woke, she found him dressing her wounds again. You've got a strange bedside manner, she muttered. You've got strange taste in mission partners. She smiled, weak but honest. You think they'll come after us? They might. What then? He stood, gaze fixed on the shelter door. Then we don't hide. By morning, the jungle was quiet again. Birds sang. Spores floated lazily. The canopy glistened with dew like nothing had happened. But something had. An outpost had been erased. A Velker commander, a decorated predator, was gone. No remains. No proof. Just wreckage. And whispers. Word would spread. About a human who moved like a phantom, who struck without warning, and left only ashes. About a woman who endured, who didn't scream, who spat in the face of cruelty and lived. Together, they had become a myth. And Gorkal Prime would remember. As they prepared to move toward the next safe zone, Ayla slung her pack over her good shoulder. We're not reporting it through the chain, she said. No. They'll bury it. Spin it diplomatic. Galen nodded. So we don't go up the chain. We go wide. Let the colonies hear. She looked at him. We tell them what the Velker really do. We show them, he said. And if they come again. His hand rested on the hilt of his blade. We remind them why you don't hunt humans in the dark. The jungle closed behind them. And two ghosts moved forward, side by side, into the green silence, carrying fire.